Welcome to this tutorial of Money Ninja Warrior Mastering Financial Apps. We're going to go fairly quickly through these next few slides here. Basically, the premise is that there is a dark samurai, a threat, and the students, they need to train to become black belts and proficient in financial apps. So the goal is to master the different categories of financial apps, and weapons plus apps equals weapons. So to do this, they will rank up in bonus. So there's 10 different categories, and for each category, if they pass it off, they will get a rank lifeline card, a belt card. Now this card will allow them to face the Dark Samurai at the end of the game. But right now we're going to train in different weapons. That's where we want to start. As you can see, there are 10 different categories. Now we could choose any one of these categories, but we're going to start with Family Fortune right now. So if we click on that, all you have to do is push continue. I want to point out a few things. One is the title, the other is the images here, and also there will be some words to explain what's going on the screen. Now all you have to do is push continue, go through here, read and look at the titles, and you'll get to this screen, which is a little quiz at the end of each training. Now we're going to choose the wrong answer just to see what happens, and as you can see, it brings you to a review screen. Go ahead and look at that and try again. So now we'll pick the right answer. Kids can track savings goals, and now we're correct, and we increase in rank, and so we get the first little rank bonus card there, and that'll help us later in the end. Now we could keep going, and it doesn't even have to be in any order. We could pick any, but let's just try facing the Dark Samurai, even though we've only trained in one category. He also has minions, so there's going to be a series of minions. The first is Dark Mammoth. Let's go on to the first attack. The house is a mess. You must assign and track chore completion among family members. Which type of weapon will you use? Now there are still 10 categories or weapons to choose from, and 1 right answer and 9 wrong answers. So let's try one of the wrong answers. Axe of Taxes, probably not right, so let's click that. And Dark Mammoth blocks your attack. And when that happens, all you have to do is push retry and it'll be the same question. So let's use the belt card lifeline, and there we go. There's now only 4 choices compared to 10. So if you use those lifeline cards, it's a lot better, a lot easier. So the right answer is Family Fortune. Successful attack with the Family Fortune. So now if we continue, it'll go to the second attack, and there will be a series of attacks until we're able to beat the minion. If you push the C question again, all you have to do is click on it and it will go away again. So fairly straightforward. You just have to go through it, and eventually you'll defeat Dark Mammoth. And the next opponent is Red Sorcerer, and then the next opponent is Dark Colossal, and there'll be a series of questions for all of them, including the Dark Samurai there at the end. And once you defeat him, you'll reach a screen like this. This is the end. Congratulations, you saved the kingdom. You're at the end. This would be a great time to take score and tally of the different team scores. And let's move on to the group presentations tutorial, get some guidelines from that. The goal of this game is to improve knowledge and actions of class participants and help inform them of available financial apps. Basic steps for presenting this game include 1. Download the instructor's guide and class materials. 2. Read over the Money on Your Phone article and go through the program yourself before presenting it. And 3. Choose which teaching method best fits your needs. And we're going to go over the teaching methods really quick here. So first we need to download and print the class materials. You're going to want to print enough Lifeline belt cards to be able to pass out to the students, as many as you need. Also the Money on Your Phone article, at least one for you so that you have a reference, but also if you want to give it as something for the students as a takeaway, you'll need to print enough for all of them. The printable program overview That can be given to students or just to community leaders or people you're trying to promote the program to. Now we're getting to the teaching methods. The first is one large group, second is small student groups, and the third is individual learning. So the first one is one large group. This is when you have a projector, and there's two ways you could probably do this. One is teams and another is individually at desks. First with teams, we'll go over some rules and guidelines. First, you'll separate the participants into groups of 5 to 10, and then the teams will take turns choosing a different app category to train in until all the categories have been picked. If the team that selected the category gets the training question correct, they will get a Belt Lifeline card. If they get the question wrong, it is moved to the next team until a team gets the answer right. Teams may use the Lifeline Belt cards when they are in the final challenge to face the Dark Samurai and his minions. Teams lose belt cards if they miss a question in this stage of the game. Continue moving to the next team if questions are missed. The team with the most belt cards at the end of the game wins. So there's an incentive to keep the belt cards that you gain during training. Don't lose them by missing questions, and maybe don't use them all the time to try and get better odds when you're answering the questions. The other method for large groups is to just have them stay at their desks or in their seats, and the whole class is essentially a team at that point. So it functions very similarly to the separate teams, but in this case they're all one team. When training questions are answered correctly the first time, the class will receive a Belt Lifeline card as a whole, and the class loses belt cards if they miss a question when facing the Dark Samurai and his minions. Lifelines are used when a majority of participants raise their hands, indicating that they don't know the answer. So if a lot of the class doesn't know what to do, they don't know the answer, and they all kind of majority choose to use the Lifeline card, then you can use it. The goal is to see how many belt cards the class can end the game with. The second teaching method is small student groups. So if you have the capability to have multiple computers or iPads, but maybe you don't have enough for every student, or you would just like them to work in groups, they can get into some groups and then play the game just as their little group. When training questions are answered correctly the first time, the groups will receive a Belt Lifeline card from the instructor. That brings us to the third teaching method, individual learning. Just like the small groups, if you have enough computers or iPads, maybe you're in a computer lab for instance, each student can go through the program on their own. The only difference is when the training questions are answered correctly the first time, individuals will receive a Belt Lifeline card from the instructor, just the individual. And so you might need a lot of belt cards, or you might just keep track on the board or something like that. Or just have the students keep track on their own and the instructor just go around and facilitate where needed. Whatever method you choose, just be sure to do some follow-up with these materials. Sign-in class sheet can be used to get the emails of your students, keep in contact with them even after the class, but be sure to have all the students either have the printable survey or take the online survey so that we can get some feedback for this program and continue to bring you more free programs in the future. Thank you for going through this tutorial, and I hope that this helps you facilitate your class and use this program to its full extent.